אז אמרה לאלוהי בעודי, אז אמרה לאלוהי בעודי, אהללה, אהללה. אז אמרה לאלוהי בעודי, אז אמרה לאלוהי בעודי, אז אמרה לאלוהי בעודי, אהללה, אהללה. אז אמרה לאלוהי בעודי. I'll sing to you, all praise to you, all source of all creation. We call your name, we sing your praise, O Holy One of blessing. Hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. אז אמרה לאלוהי בעודי, אז אמרה לאלוהי בעודי, אהללה, אהללה. אז אמרה לאלוהי בעודי.
Cantor, we've got a little bit of a fire hazard here in between us. 2 sets of candles, because we're not only celebrating Shabbat, we're celebrating the second night of Hanukkah. It has arrived. It is here. Let's light some candles. Oh, they're lit already. Let's make some blessings over candles. We start on Erev Shabbat with the blessing over Hanukkah candles, and then welcome in Shabbat with our normal Shabbat candle lighting blessing.
Join me, everyone. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Hanukkah. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, she'asa nisim la'avoteinu bayamim ha'ahim b'azman hazeh. Ma'otor Yeshuati lechanael lishabeach, tikon beit tefilati b'sham todah nizabeach, li'et achim mabeach, b'tzor hamnabeach. אז אגמור בשיר מזמור חנוכת המזבח. אז אגמור בשיר מזמור חנוכת המזבח.
And now we welcome in Shabbat.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat.
Happy Hanukkah and Shabbat Shalom.
Happy Hanukkah, Shabbat Shalom.
You know, Cantor, I think you know that I really like Jewish music. And when I think about a holiday, I think about the music of the holiday. And I might joke about a less talented musician that leading services on the Shabbat of Hanukkah involves cramming Ma'os Tzor into as many prayers as possible. And I think there's a perception that Hanukkah is lacking in its own happy music, in its own joyful music, especially in comparison to Christmas, where we hear Christmas music all over the place. But I'm going to guess that you don't feel that way. And I'm curious, what's on your Hanukkah playlist this year?
You know, that's interesting because with the Hebrew High, we made a playlist. And that was all about like the themes of Hanukkah. So it could have been anything with light or hope or resilience. Any of those themes would have, or pride, Jewish pride. So any of those themes would go. But I have to say, the congregation probably knows that Jacob Spike Krause, all of his that new album, that new Hanukkah album of his, is definitely on my playlist from last year. And the other things on my playlist, I'll have everyone know, came from Rabbi Wolk, because this morning he shared with me some of his playlist. Although, are you about to share it?
Well, I was going to, but I want to hear what you liked.
Well, I just love, you know, instead of Maosur, we have Maosur Yeshuati Lechanai.
The Italian, actually written by a non-Jewish composer, Benedetto Marcello, who I believe wrote it and brought it into a church. But it's this beautiful Italian melody that for now, so had you heard that before?
Yeah, oh, absolutely. I mean, I know, I'm daughter of a cantor. What can I say?
You don't know everything necessarily.
Well, I don't know everything, but I knew a lot of them. You know, when I think of Hanukkah, I actually do think back to my dad. We used to have the Epstein Hebrew Academy choir. And so that's where I learned all my Hanukkah songs, like Al Hanisim ve'al haporkan ve'al
That's a very familiar one.
You know, and
takes me back to yeshiva.
What?
Takes me back to yeshiva.
Exactly. And so we learned all those. And then when I think of Reuben, I think of Kad Katan, because that's his favorite. But yes, I do have like hundreds of Hanukkah songs.
I also think back to my dad, the cantor, something very different that I also put on that playlist that I shared with you. Also a non-Jewish composer, Handel's Judas Maccabeus, the Baroque opera, which I know we're going to get a taste of tomorrow. But there's some of this beautiful, Baroque opera, distinct style music that's not Jewish, but we can use it to celebrate Hanukkah because it's the story of Hanukkah. And I know you have something prepared for that with that tomorrow.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of music for Hanukkah that we're going to get to enjoy tonight, tomorrow, and over the next few days as we celebrate together with everyone in Temple Israel.
Yes.
Now that we talked about music, let's do some singing. Kabbalat Shabbat begins with Lechun Ranena on page 11.
Lechun Ranena, Lechun Ranena, Lechun Ranena, Ladonai, Lechun Ranena. Litzuri sheinu nekadma fana bitoda nekadma fana bitoda bizmirot naria lo lechun ranena lechun ranena Adonai lechun ranena naria litzuri sheinu nekadma fana Arbaim shanaku bedor va'omar hamto elevavim vehem ledu derachai asher nishbati ve'api im yivon amenuchati.
Sing to Adonai a new song. Sing to Adonai all the earth. Shir Adonai Shir Chadash, page 13.
Shir Chadash, Shiru Adonai, Kol Haaretz, Shiru Adonai, Baruch Shemo, Basru miyom liyom Yeshuato, Sapru v'goyim kevodo, B'chol ha'amim niflotav, Ki gadol Adonai u'mulo levion, Norahu al kol Elohim. Shiru Adonai, Shir Chadash. שירו לאדוני כל הארץ, שירו לאדוני ברכו שמו, מסרו מיום ליום ישועתו, כי כל אלוהי העמים אלילים, אדוני שמיים עשה, הוד והדר לפניו, עוז ותפארת במקדשו, שירו לאדוני שיר חדש, שירו לאדוני כל הארץ, שירו לאדוני ברכו שמו, מסרו מיום ליום ישועתו, שירו לאדוני, שירו לאדוני. ישמחו השמיים ותגל הארץ, ירם הים ומלואו, יעלו שדי וכל אשר בו, אז ירננו כל עצי יער, לפני אדוני קיווה לשפוט הארץ, ישפוט תבל בצדק, ויאמין באמונתו.
Continue the bottom of page 20, the final 3 lines with Romamu.
Adonai Eloheinu, Romemu Adonai Eloheinu, והשתחוו להר קודשו, והשתחוו להר קודשו. כי קדוש, כי קדוש, כי קדוש, אדוני אלוהינו. כי קדוש, כי קדוש, כי קדוש, אדוני אלוהינו. רוממו אדוני אלוהינו, רוממו אדוני אלוהינו.
We continue to welcome in Shabbat with Lecha Dodi, page 23.
לך דודי לי בקלה, הנה שבת נקבלה. 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 שמור וזכור בדיבורך, השמיענו אל המיוחד. אדוני אחד ושמו אחד, לשמו תפארת ונתילה. לך דודי לי בקלה, הנה שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לי בקלה, הנה שבת נקבלה. לקראת שבת לכו ונלכה, כי היא מקור הברכה. מראש מקדם נשוכה, סוף מעשה במחשבה תחילה. לך דודי לי בקלה, הנה שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לי בקלה, הנה שבת נקבלה. ימין ושמאל תפרוצי, ואת אדוני תריצי. אל יריב ארץ פרצי, ונשמחה ונגילה. לך דודי לי בקלה, הנה שבת נקבלה. לך דודי
period, we continue a song for the day of Shabbat, Mizmor Shir Liyom HaShabbat, page 27.
Mizmor Shir Leyom HaShabbat Tov lehodot l'Adonai Tov lehodot l'Adonai Uzamer l'shimcha elyon Ulizamer l'shimcha elyon להגיד בבוקר, בבוקר חסדך ואמונתך בלילות, לעשור ולנבל, להיגיון מזמור שיר ליום השבת טוב להודות לאדוני טוב להודות לאדוני ולזמר לשמך עליון ולזמר לשמך צדיק התמר יפרח כהרס בלבנון יזכה שתולים בבית אדוני בחצרות אלוהינו יפריחון עוד ינבו מסביבה דשנים ורעננים יהיו להגיד כי ישר אדוני צורי ולא הבלתה בו.
Page 29.
Adonai malaki ulavesh lavesh Adonai ozi tazar aptikon devel baitimot mikolot mayim rabim hadirim mishberegam adir bamarom Adonai irotecha nemnu mil levetcha navakodesh Adonai leorech yamim.
As we conclude Kabbalat Shabbat, we turn to our friends and to our family to share with them words of blessing. To people with us physically, we reach out our hands. To people who we are thinking about, we reach out our hearts, our spirits, and we share with them the words of the Berkat Kohanim, the priestly blessing.
יברכך אדוני וישמרך. Join me. כן יהי רצון, כן יהי רצון. יאר אדוני פניו אליך ויחונך. כן יהי רצון, כן יהי רצון. May God bless you and protect you. May God show you kindness and be gracious unto you. May God show you favor and grant you peace and grant you peace. Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasim lecha shalom. כן יהי רצון, כן יהי רצון, כן יהי רצון, כן יהי רצון.
May Adonai bless you and guard you. May Adonai show you favor and be gracious to you. May Adonai show you kindness and grant you shalom and grant you peace. We now turn our prayers to those in our lives in need of healing, physical or spiritual well-being. Included in our prayers tonight, we think about Chana Miriam bat Rivka, Malka Dina bat Eliyahu Arya be'Urol, Avram Mordechai ben Fega, Tamar ben Rachel Yehuda, Rav Yaakov Chai ben Hadassah, Shimon ben Yaakov Mordechai ben Naomi, Devorah bat Sarah, Herschel Yehoshua ben Malka, Perel bat Razel, Dov ben Ita, Shmuel Yaakov ben Kalia ve'Ari, Devorah Rachel, Sima Eta bat Esther, Yeta Gittel, Aviva bat Chaya, Malka bat Sarah, Leib Yisrael ben Sipora, Adina Miriam bat Aaron v'Devorah, Aliza Meira bat Leah, Chaim Yitzchak ben Gittel Fegel, Tzivia bat Chana, Rav Moshe Chaim ben Susha, Sarah bat Chaim Shlomo, Brandy bat Carla, Esther bat Yankel Ruben v'Sara, Helen bat Leah, Michael Jackson, Zevdov ben Baruch Beleah, Yudit bat Miriam, Paltiel ben Moshe, Meira Bracha bat Chana, Shmuel ben Ariel, Elijah Avila, Jordan Rosenberg, Jordana Faith Ram, Rich Ulrich, Mabel Tannenbaum, Sue Ann Burrows, Kathy Berlin, and Maxine Albaum. We now take a moment to recite the names of anyone you are praying for this evening. Yishaberach for healing. A prayer for healers. May God, who blessed our ancestors, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, Sarah, Rebecca, Rachel, and Leah, bless you for honoring and caring for God's creations. May God protect and save COVID-19 and from all other illness, and send blessing and success to the work of your hands, along with all others who are doing their part to ease suffering and save lives. May God bless you every time you rise from your bed, walk out of your home, and go to work. May you return to your loved ones each and every day in full health, and let us say, Amen.
Amen.
Turn to page 30, and I invite those in mourning or marking a yortzeit to rise and join me in the Mourner's Kaddish. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei rabah.
Amen.
V'yalma divera kirutei v'yamlich malchutei. V'chayechon v'yomechon v'chayei d'chol beit Yisrael. V'agala v'zman kariv v'imru. Amen. Yehi shemei rabah mevorach le'olam u'lomei omaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnasei. V'yitadar v'yitalev v'yitalal shemei d'kudsha brichu. Le'ela min kol berchata v'shirata, tush bechata v'nechamata, damiran v'alma v'imru, amen. Yehi shlama rabba min shemaya, v'chaim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru, amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav, hu yaseh shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael, v'al kol yoshvei tevel v'imru, amen. May be seated. So someone asked me this week in the Lunch and Learn whether it was appropriate on Hanukkah to turn to your friends and wish them a Chag Sameach. Every holiday has its own particular greeting. So I explained that Chag Sameach is actually the appropriate greeting on Passover, Pesach, on Shavuot, and on Sukkot, the three Chagim, or the pilgrimage festivals. But on Hanukkah, we can wish each other a slightly modified form of that greeting. We say to each other, Chag Urim Sameach, or a happy festival of lights to you. So Shabbat Shalom, everyone, and Chag Urim Sameach. When I think about preparing for an upcoming holiday, one of the first things that I do is look at the prayers that are unique for that holiday and reviewing the text and thinking a little bit about the nusach, the chant, or the music for them. But Hanukkah actually has very few of its own distinct prayers. We recite Hallel, but we say Hallel on many holidays. Really, the most notable prayer that we include in services is the prayer called Al Hanisim, the prayer that we recite as part of Birkat Hamazon, the grace after meals, and that we insert in every Amidah, every silent prayer. And if you have Siddur Lev Shalem, why don't you turn ahead to page 430 so we could take a look at this prayer, Al Hanisim. Hanukkah, this holiday, is the holiday on which we talk about Nisim, miracles, and we commemorate two miracles. First, the victory of the small band of Maccabees over the mighty Syrian Greek army. And then we celebrate the legend of that famous little pitcher of oil that was only supposed to last for one day, but burned for 8, burned long enough for the Maccabees to make more pure olive oil to relight the menorah. So when we recite this special prayer on Hanukkah, our focus is on those miracles. We thank God for the miracles, for the deliverance, for the victories, for the triumphs, and for the battles you fought for our ancestors in those days and at this time. Now, looking at this prayer in our printed prayer book, you would not know, unless you read the commentary actually, that there are two versions of the Al Hanisim prayer. Two versions that are different by only one letter, one Hebrew letter. But that one letter changes the whole theology and the whole message of this prayer that we recite throughout the week. If you look at most traditional Siddurim printed today, you will see the ending phrase, Bayamim hahem bazeman hazeh, in those days, at this time. And with this phrase, we're thanking God for the miracles that God performed for our ancestors, the Maccabees, that took place at this time of year during Hanukkah, leading up to their victory and the 8 days that the oil burned. It's a prayer that makes perfect sense for Hanukkah. But by adding in the one Hebrew letter, the one letter Vav, in just the right place, this prayer becomes so much more. It becomes something different. The oldest version of this prayer is found in a 9th century prayer book, the prayer book of Rav Amram Gaon. And the same version is also found in Maimonides' writings. And he changes the last line, the concluding phrase, to read, Bayamim hahem uvazman hazeh. We thank God for the miracles that God performed in those days, and, the letter Vav is an and at this time. In other words, today. By adding the Vav, the and, the prayer thanks God not just for the miracles of the Maccabees, but also for any miracles that we see around us taking place right now, taking place today, at this time. While this version of the prayer was not favored by many rabbis who wanted to focus solely on the story of Hanukkah when they prayed, this custom, this Vav, was revived by Rabbi Jules Harlow, the editor of conservative movement prayer books, Siddurim, in the second half of the 20th century. And when Rabbi Harlow thought about modern miracles, he was most likely referring to something very specific. He was most likely thinking about the birth of the modern state of Israel in 1948, something that I very much think of as a modern miracle. And we certainly celebrate that miracle. But when I read Al Hanisim with the extra Vav added in, I read it as a challenge to us. It's a challenge to first celebrate the two miracles of Hanukkah, the miracles of the Maccabean victory, brought about through human effort, through human belief, and through human persistence, and the miracle of the oil, miracle that was brought about through the divine will, through God acting in the world. Then, after we celebrate those two miracles, we are challenged to look around the world and see if we can find similar miracles to thank God for. We look around at a very bleak world this year and try to find signs of hope in the persistence and resilience of other people, and in the happy moments that we can only attribute to God. If you're a more spiritual person, a more mystical person, look for the hand of God in everyday life. If you're a more practical person, less focused on what goes on in heaven, look to be inspired by other people, the miracles that come about when we put our mind to something and when we refuse to give up. As you light your candles each night this week, challenge yourself to think not only of the miracles that took place at that time to our ancestors, but to identify and name for yourself a miracle that takes place today as well. Shabbat Shalom and Chag Urim Sameach. We turn back in the Sidurim to the Mariv service and we rise for the Baruch Hu, page 39. You may be seated. Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, ruler of time and space, whose word brings the evening dusk, whose wisdom opens the gates of dawn, whose understanding changes the day's division, whose will sets the succession of seasons and arranges the stars in their places in the sky, who creates day and night, who rolls light before darkness and darkness from light.
ומעביר יום ומביא לילה, ומבדיל בין יום ובין לילה, אדוני צבאות שמו, אל חי וקיים. תמיד ימלוך עלינו לעולם ועד, ברוך אתה אדוני, המריב הרבים.
Amen. Page 40, Ahavat Olam.
אהבת עולם בשבילך, אהבת תורה מצוות ומשפטים ותשלם למדתם מגנון. כי הם חיינו ואורך ימינו, ובהם נגע יומם ולילה, ואהבתך תציר ממנו לעולמים, ברוך אתה אדוני, אוהב עמו ישראל. שמע ישראל, אדוני אלוהינו, אדוני אחד. ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם, בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך, ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם להיות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך, ובשעריך.
Page 42.
Adonai Elohechem Emet.
Page 43.
ומלכותו ברצון קיבלו עליהם משה ומרים ובני ישראל לחנו שירה בשמחה רבה ואמרו כולם מי כמוך באלים אדוני מי כמוך נהדר בקודש נורא תהילות עושה פלא נורא תהילות עושה פלא עושה פלא מלכותך ראו בניך בוקע ים לפני משה זילי הנו ואמרו אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד לעולם ועד מי כמוך באלים אדוני מי כמוך נהדר בקודש נורא תהילות עושה פלא נורא תהילות עושה פלא עושה ונאמר כי פדה אדוני את יעקב וגלום יד חזק ממנו ברוך אתה אדוני גאל ישראל.
Amen. Allow us, Adonai, our God, to sleep peacefully. Awaken us to life, O Sovereign. Blessed are you who spreads the canopy of peace over us, over all the people Israel, and over Jerusalem. Page 45, Hashkivenu.
Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu Leshalom Leshalom Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu מעתה ועד עולם, ופרוס עלינו סוכת שלומך, ברוך אתה אדוני, הפורס סוכת שלום עלינו וכל עמו ישראל, ועל ירושלים.
Amen. We rise for Vishamru, page 46.
ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. השמיים ואת הארץ, ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. וביום השביעי שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש, ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה, ועמד יברח חירותי וימליך מלכותי, בחייכון וביומכון, ובחיי כל בית ישראל, בגלה בגלה, ובזמן קריב אמרו אמן. יהי שמי רבה מבורך, לעולם ולעולמי עולמיה. יתברך, יתברך וישתבח, יתברך ויתרומם וינשא ויתהדר, ויתהלל, ויתהלל, שמי קודשה בריחו, לעילא מן כל ברכתה ושירתה. תושבחתה ונחמתה, תמירן בעלמא, אמרו אמן.
We spend the next few moments in silent prayer, the Amidah beginning on page 47. Please note at the bottom of page 50 the insertion for Al Hanisim, prayer for Hanukkah. Silent Amidah begins page 47.
the miracle of candles in the dark. Light one for the people who became the fire spark. Light one more and light it for finding courage in your heart. Light one candle, Hanukkah is. We light these lights, we're keepers of the flame. Our sparks ignite our past, our future, our link in the chain. We light these lights, they light the way. So shine your light, so shine your light. Light one for the dreidels as we watch them spinning round. Light one for the Nes Gadol, 'cause miracles abound. Light one more and light it for laughter, singing, happy sounds. Light one candle, Hanukkah is here.
Page 54, Kaddish Shalem.
יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה.
Amen.
ביעמד יברח חירותי ביום נתמחותי בחיי חונו ויום יחונו בחיי תחו בית ישראל בגלה ובזמן קריב אמרו אמן. יהי שמי רבה מבורך לעולם ולעולמי עולמיה יתברך. יתברך וישבח יתברך בתרומה מן הסייף יתהדר ויתהדר שמי קודש בריחו לילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה תשבחתה ונחמתה דמירן מעמה ואמרו אמן. תרגע בארצות הרבתון תוכל ישראל קדם אבוהני וישמעי ואמרו אמן. יהי שם הרב מן שמעי וחיים עלינו ולכל ישראל ואמרו אמן. עושה שלום במרומיו הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ועל כל יושבי תבל ואמרו אמן.
Amen. Page 55. Please raise your glass and join me in the Kiddush. Sabri Maranan Rabbanan Rabotai Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kidshanu mitzvotav v'ratzavanu v'shabbat kodsho v'yahava ratzon yichilanu zikaron lema'aseh v'reishit ki hu yom techila lemikra'ei kodesh Zecher litziat Mitzrayim Kivanu v'acharta V'yotanu kidashta Mikol ha'amim V'shabbat kodshecha V'yahava u'bratzon Inchaltanu Baruch atah Adonai Mekadesh HaShabbat.
Amen.
Page 56, Aleinu.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הרצון, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים, לפני מלך מלכי המלכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא, שהוא נוטה שמיים ויוצר הארץ, ומשה ביקרו בשמיים ממעל, ושכינתו זו Vigave meromim, Hu Eloheinu Einon, Emet Malkeinu Efes Ulatom, Kakatum B'Torato, V'yadata Yom Mehashivota, El Levavecha, Ki Adonai Hu Elohim, Hashamayim Imad, V'Haaretz Mitachatenu. כי המלכות שלך למייתים לו בכבוד, ככתוב בתורתך, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד. ונאמר, והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ, ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו
May be seated. We turn to page 58. Before reciting the mourner's Kaddish, we think of those whose yard sites fall this coming week. This Shabbat, we remember Israel Rivera, David Allen Golden, Celia Katz-Lasac, Marge Muller, Albert Gerson Siegel, Murad Al-Qadzi, Eric Wolf, Rebecca Kushner, Chana Korn, Leonard Hauser, Robert Roth, Carol Gorelik, Iris Spiel, Francis Reich, Jacob Ziegelheim, Charlotte Glazer, Louis Weiss, Bertram Morton Bloom, Patricia Ross Sperber, Mildred Thrope, Anne Marks Langman, Philip Berlin, Betty Weiss, Barbara Nathan Brenner, Burton Lasac, Sidney Seth, Jack Hurd, Magdalena Vero, Milton Steinberger, Leonard Hollander, Jenny Beikovitz, Mordechai Mendel Mazursky, Ben Bruck, Saul Richmond, William Aaron Estroff, Shmuel Fuchs, Alan Rose, Vera Weissman, Kalman Sutker, Charles Layton, June Miller, Irving Stern, Philip Wittis, Sam Brenner, Bernice Silver, and Janice Levine. We also extend our condolences to families in the midst of Shiva and Shloshim following the death of a loved one, to Joel Barman for the passing of his father, Marvin Barman, to Lynn Sheffer and Dan Levinson for the passing of their father, Ellis Levinson, to Michael Abadi for the passing of his mother, Olga Abadi, and his sister, Leslie Abadi, to Glenn Kaufman for the passing of his mother, Lisa Lata Kaufman, to Josh Levine for the passing of his uncle, Dr. William Rothstein, to Rory and Debbie Vitale for the passing of his mother, Anna Fishman Vitale. May all of their memories always be for a blessing. Turn to page 58. I invite those in mourning or marking a yard site to rise and join me in the mourner's Kaddish. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei rabbah, v'yalmad yivera kirutei v'yamlich malchutei, v'chayechon v'yomechon v'chayei d'chol beit Yisrael, v'agala v'zman kariv v'imru, amen. Yehi shemei rabbah mevorach leolam olameo maya, Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnasei, v'yitadar v'yit'aleh v'yitalal shemei d'kudsha b'richu, Le'ela min kol berchata v'shirata, tush b'chata v'nechamata, damiran b'yalma v'yimru, amen. Yehi shlama rabba min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu v'yal kol Yisrael v'yimru, amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav, v'yaseh shalom aleinu v'yal kol Yisrael, v'yal kol yoshvei tevel v'yimru, amen. May be seated. I now call on our president, Teresa Brenner, to share some words of greeting.
Thank you, Rabbi. Shabbat Shalom, Temple Israel family, and I'll stick with the English version. Happy Hanukkah. Thank you, Rabbi Walk, for your very interesting remarks and teachings and your application of those to our lives today. To Cantor Lissick for leading us so beautifully in service this evening. To Adam Ward, our pianist. To Ariel Di Donato, our Zoom Gabbai, and Sean Seifert for his audiovisual services using our spectacular camera and sound system donated by Arlene and Milton Bergman. Tomorrow morning is the Shabbat experience, and Rabbi and Cantor previewed a little bit of the songs you will hear for tomorrow, so please do join us for services tomorrow morning starting at 9:30 a.m. Sunday evening minyan has been changed for this week, Sunday, December 13th to 7:30 p.m. For many years, our community's strategic vision has included a senior living community. This vision is coming to fruition with Generations at Shalom Park by Aldersgate. If you are interested in exploring this wonderful integrated residential community for yourself or your parents, a virtual information session and tour will be held on December 14th. Deposits are being taken and home selection and finished choices are occurring. We have so many opportunities to learn and socialize and perform deeds of loving kindness together for the Hanukkah season. Rabbi Walk will hold Jews and Brews on Monday at 10 a.m. Please join virtually for this study session. Social Club is hosting its annual Hanukkah program on Sunday, December 13th at 12:30 p.m. with Cantor Emeritus Rushvarg. Reach out to Ruth Goldberg or Irving Beanstalk with questions. Men's Club is hosting a 7th night cigar, scotch, and lights program on Wednesday, December 16th at 8 p.m. Contact Josh Lowensteiner or Mike Eisner for more details. Women of Temple Israel will be hosting Shining Your Light, a Hanukkah celebration with singer, songwriter, educator Ileana Light on Thursday, December 17th at 8 p.m. There will be an opportunity to participate in a raffle to benefit Torah Fund, which provides funding to the Jewish Theological Seminary for deserving students. Torah on Tap is holding a virtual latkey-making demonstration on Thursday, December 17th at 7 p.m. Contact Eric Cohen. On Sunday, December 13th at 5:30 p.m., there will be a Greater Charlotte virtual program, Light Over Darkness, where Rabbi Walk and Cantor Lissick and their families have been invited to join the acclaimed Jewish street artist Mike Worth as they spray paint the fourth flame on Charlotte's Lord's Hanukkah mural project. Social Action is looking for volunteers to transport meals from Temple Israel to Roof Above, formerly the Men's Shelter of Charlotte, on Thursday, December 24th at 3 p.m. here at the Temple Israel. Donations of new winter coats, socks, hats, and gloves are always appreciated. Contact Jonathan Berger for more details. The Rose Room Gift Shop has many Hanukkah essentials and gifts and is open for online shopping and curbside pickup or delivery to your home. Contact Stephanie Meadow. After Shabbat, please see our website, Kol Israel, and your weekly email for complete information about upcoming events, including youth events with Alan Jonathan, the Shabbat Zoom link, and Stream Spot Box. We offer many opportunities for services, learning, community, and friendship. Please join us. Shabbat Shalom and Happy Hanukkah.
Thank you, Teresa. Shabbat Shalom. I'm interested in learning about generations. It looks great. We conclude our service this evening with Shalom Aleichem. We turn back to page 5.
Shalom Aleichem, Malachi Yosharet, Malachi Elyon, Minelech, Malachi HaMelachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Shalom Aleichem, Malachi Yosharet, Malachi Elyon, Minelech, Malachi HaMelachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Shalom, Malachi, Shalom, Malachi, Elyon, Melech, Malachi, Malachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Baruch Hu,